Wall Street is a game. Millions of intelligent people spend their entire lives trying to win it. They read the reports, they watch the charts, they chase the trends. They try, every single day, to be smarter than the next person. And then there was Charlie Munger, who won the game by refusing to play it. For 60 years, he did almost nothing. He bought a small number of businesses, he held them for decades. He read, walked, and thought. And by the time he died at 99 years old, he had helped build one of the most successful investment vehicles in the history of capitalism. Not by being brilliant, but by learning how to avoid being stupid. Charles Thomas Munger was born on the first day of 1924 in Omaha, Nebraska, where his father worked as a modest but respected lawyer. As a young boy, Charlie took a job sweeping floors at a small corner grocery store. The store belonged to a family named Buffett. The owner's grandson, a boy named Warren, worked in the same store. They never met. They wouldn't meet for another 20 years. But something in Charlie Munger was already forming, a habit that would define the rest of his life. He was a reader. He did not read one subject, he read them all. Physics, biology, psychology, history, economics. He believed, even then, that no single lens could show you the world. You needed a latticework of mental models. He would spend the next 8 decades adding to that latticework, one book at a time. The year was 1959. Charlie Munger, now 35 and practicing law in Los Angeles, returned briefly to Omaha for a family visit. At a dinner one evening, a mutual friend introduced him to Warren Buffett, a 29-year-old investor from Omaha. Something in their conversation clicked. Buffett spoke in facts. Munger spoke in frameworks. Buffett saw numbers. Munger saw why the numbers were what they were. For the next 6 decades, they would speak by phone almost every week. They would argue. They would sharpen each other. And together, they would build a company called Berkshire Hathaway. But Munger's greatest contribution to Buffett was not investment advice. It was a fundamental reframing of the game itself. Wall Street, Munger observed, was populated by extraordinarily intelligent people. Ivy League graduates, mathematical prodigies, analysts with encyclopedic memories, all of them competing, furiously, to be the smartest. And yet, over any given decade, the majority of them underperformed the simple market they were trying to beat. Munger looked at this and quietly asked a different question. What if the game was not to be smart? What if the game was to avoid being stupid? He put the idea in his own words, as directly as he ever put anything. He said the long-term advantage of people like him had come not from trying to be brilliant, but from trying to be consistently not stupid. This was not modesty. This was mathematics. In investing, one catastrophic mistake can undo 20 years of brilliant decisions, but a lifetime of quietly avoided mistakes compounds silently, invisibly, unstoppably. The genius of Charlie Munger was not that he knew more than others, it was that he lost less than others. And over 60 years, losing less turns out to be far more profitable than winning bigger. In 1986, Charlie Munger was invited to speak at a Harvard High School graduation. The audience expected the usual advice: follow your dreams, work hard, chase excellence. Instead, Munger gave the strangest commencement speech in Harvard's history. He titled it, "How to Guarantee a Life of Misery." He listed the exact behaviors that would guarantee a person to fail at life. Be unreliable. Refuse to learn from others. Quit after every failure. Ignore the wisdom of the past. Envy those who succeed. Resent your circumstances. Avoid objective self-assessment. He was not lecturing them on how to be happy. He was showing them precisely how to be miserable, so that they could carefully do the opposite. This was his signature method. He called it inversion. Do not ask, "How do I succeed?" That question is too vast and too crowded. Ask instead, "How do I fail?" Then simply, do not do those things. It sounds obvious, but in a culture that worships the pursuit of greatness, the choice to carefully avoid disaster is almost never taken seriously. And so Munger, quietly, walked past the crowd of geniuses, not because he was smarter, because he had decided not to trip over the same rocks they kept tripping over. By the time Charlie Munger died in 2023, at the age of 99, he had helped build a company that returned, at various points in its history, up to 2 million% on its original value. His personal fortune was estimated at approximately $2 to $3 billion. He gave hundreds of millions of it away. To Stanford, to Harvard Westlake, to the Huntington Library. He designed a graduate student dormitory himself, refusing to hire an architect, and paid for it with his own money. He lived for over 60 years in the same modest house in Pasadena, California. He never bought a private jet. He never chased status. He was famously, chronically uninterested in what other people thought of him. He was once asked, in his late 80s, what the secret of his long and successful life was. His answer was one word: rational. He did not chase happiness. He avoided misery. He did not chase brilliance. He avoided stupidity. He did not chase wealth. He avoided ruin. And by the end of a very long life, everything he had refused to chase had somehow quietly caught up to him. There is a strange lesson at the center of Charlie Munger's life. The world is full of people trying to be smart, trying to be first, trying to win. But the wealthy, the truly, quietly wealthy, often win by refusing to compete at all. They do not chase the smartest move. They simply avoid the stupidest one, repeatedly, silently, for 60 years. And that, Munger might say, is the closest thing to a guaranteed strategy the world has ever known. The loud chase fortune. The wise build it in silence. If this found you at the right time, perhaps someone else needs to find it too. Stay quiet. Stay sharp. We'll see you in the next one.